Whispers of the Seaside. The small coastal town had always been Lena's escape. Each summer, she would return to her grandmother's cottage by the sea, where the salty wind carried whispers of freedom. This year, however, felt different. One morning, while sketching on the pier, she noticed a man repairing an old fishing boat. His hair was sun-kissed, his hands rough, but his smile, warm and unguarded, made her heart stumble. "Beautiful drawing," he said, glancing at her sketch of the sea. "And a sturdy boat," she replied shyly. His name was Adrian, a local who had spent most of his life by the shore. Days turned into weeks, and soon Lena found herself spending every evening by his side. They walked barefoot along the tide, shared stories over grilled fish, and sometimes sat in silence, letting the waves speak for them. One night, under a sky scattered with stars, Adrian handed her a seashell. "My mother used to say seashells carry promises," he whispered. "So, here's mine. Whenever you listen to this, know that I'm thinking of you." Lena pressed the shell to her ear. All she heard was the ocean, but in her heart, it felt like his voice. Summer slipped away too quickly. On her last day, she stood on the pier, suitcase by her side, the horizon glowing with dawn. Adrian approached, his eyes heavy with unspoken words. "You'll come back?" he asked. She smiled, though her throat tightened. "Every summer. And every time, I'll look for you." He took her hand, squeezing it gently. "Then I'll be here, waiting." As the bus carried her away, Lena held the seashell close. The sound of waves inside it was endless, just like the memory of his touch. Though distance lay ahead, their promise lingered, quiet, steady, and eternal, like the sea itself. The last train home. The station was nearly empty, except for the quiet hum of the vending machine and the distant echo of footsteps. Emma sat on the cold wooden bench, clutching her suitcase. The clock above ticked relentlessly, each second a reminder that she was leaving everything behind. She had promised herself she wouldn't look back, yet when the last train screeched into the station, her heart hesitated. Leaving the city also meant leaving Daniel. Daniel had been her neighbor for years, the boy who always carried her groceries, who always knocked on her door when her lights were down. Slowly, quietly, he had become the one constant in her chaotic life. They never confessed anything aloud, but every shared smile and lingering glance had said enough. The doors of the train slid open. Emma stood up, her legs trembling. She stepped forward, but before she could board, she heard a familiar voice. "Emma." She froze. Turning around, she saw Daniel running down the platform, breathless, eyes desperate. "You aren't going to say goodbye?" he asked, his voice breaking slightly. Emma swallowed hard. "Daniel, I can't stay. This city, it's not my place anymore." He stepped closer, his chest rising and falling. "Maybe the city isn't. But what about me?" Her heart thudded painfully. She wanted to tell him she had thought of him every moment, that the hardest part of leaving wasn't the city but the fear of never seeing him again. The train's horn blared. The doors began to close. Daniel reached for her hand. "Emma, if you walk away now, I'll let you. But I need you to know," his voice cracked. "I love you. I've loved you for a long time." Emma's suitcase slipped from her grip. For a moment, the world went silent. Then, with a shaky laugh, she stepped away from the train. The door slammed shut behind her. The train rumbled and disappeared into the night, leaving them standing under the flickering station light. Emma looked up at him, tears shimmering in her eyes. "You're the reason I wanted to stay. I was just too afraid to admit it." Daniel smiled, relief flooding his face. He pulled her into his arms, holding her as if he would never let go again. The night was cold, but between them, it felt like the beginning of something warm, something lasting. And for the first time, Emma felt she was exactly where she belonged. The station clock struck 9 as Emma clutched her ticket, her heart racing faster than the footsteps echoing down the platform. She had promised herself she wouldn't come, that she wouldn't wait for someone who had already left once. And yet, here she was. Daniel had always been a dreamer. He loved the stars, the horizon, the endless possibilities of life. When he left for the city 2 years ago, Emma told him she understood. He wanted more than their small town could give, and she couldn't ask him to stay. But he had written letters, beautiful, clumsy letters, telling her that no matter where he went, a part of him belonged to her. The letters had stopped 6 months ago. Silent her praised words. She told herself it was over. Still, when she heard a rumor that Daniel was coming back on the last train tonight, she couldn't stop the quiet hope that tugged at her. The train whistled in the distance, headlights cutting through the mist. Emma's breath caught. People stepped off one by one, businessmen, families, strangers with tired eyes. No Daniel. Her heart sank. She turned to leave, swallowing the sting in her chest. Emma? She froze. That voice, warm, uncertain, spoke her name like a secret. Turning, she saw him. His hair was a little longer, his coat worn, but his smile was the same, shy, gentle, meant only for her. I didn't know if you'd come, he said, breathless. I almost didn't, she whispered. He stepped closer, eyes searching hers. I tried to let go, but every street, every crowded room, I kept looking for you. I should have come sooner. I'm sorry. Tears blurred her vision, not from pain but from relief. She laughed softly, shaking her head. You always were terrible with timing. Daniel grinned, reaching for her hand. Then let me make it right this time. If you'll let me. Emma looked at him, really looked, and saw not the boy who had left, but the man who had found his way back. The train behind them hissed, preparing to leave, but for the first time in years, she felt no urge to run. She squeezed his hand. Welcome home. And as the last train pulled away into the night, Emma realized that sometimes love doesn't wait, it circles back, carrying 2 hearts to the place they were always meant to return. The bridge at dawn. Evelyn never liked early mornings, yet she found herself on the old stone bridge at dawn every day. It was quiet there, the river beneath whispering softly, the first light painting the sky in shades of rose and gold. It was also where she first met Daniel. He was a painter, easel set up near the railing, capturing the play of light on water. One morning, as she lingered, he looked up from his canvas and smiled. You always come here, he said. And you always paint here, she replied. From then on, their mornings became intertwined. Sometimes they spoke of trivial things, the weather, the river's current, the sparrows nesting nearby. Other times, they shared pieces of themselves. She told him about her dream of becoming a writer, and he confessed his fear that no one would ever care about his art. Days turned to weeks, and their silence grew comfortable, their laughter unguarded. Evelyn began to notice how Daniel's eyes softened when he looked at her, how he paused before packing up his brushes, as if reluctant to leave. One morning, a storm rolled in. Rain splattered on the bridge, the sky gray and heavy. Evelyn almost stayed home, but something in her heart urged her to go. She found Daniel there, drenched but still painting, his canvas blurred with water. "You'll ruin it," she shouted over the rain. He shook his head. "Not ruined, just changed. Like everything." She stepped closer, shivering. He set down his brush, looked at her with a quiet intensity, and whispered, "Evelyn, if I don't tell you this now, I'll regret it forever. You've become the most beautiful part of my days. I think I love you." Her breath caught. The world around them seemed to pause, the river loud and wild, the rain a curtain between them and the rest of the world. She reached for his hand, cold and wet, and smiled through trembling lips. "Then don't regret it. Because I love you too." They laughed, clinging to each other in the downpour. The bridge, once only a place of quiet mornings, had become the beginning of something they both had longed for without knowing. And when the storm passed, the sky opened again in colors brighter than before.